You're praying for a breakthrough, but it's the old self that's blocking the door. Stay till the end, because once you understand this, your whole reality will shift. You cannot step into a higher vibration while still clinging to the old version of yourself that was shaped by fear, lack, and struggle. The old self must die, not in pain, but in peace. It is not a death of the body, but a rebirth of the spirit. Many fear this inner death because it feels like losing identity, comfort, and control. Yet what you are really losing are chains, the invisible cords that tie you to limitation and delay. The universe can only fill an empty vessel, and the old self keeps the vessel full of worry, doubt, and self-sabotage. When you release that, you make room for miracles. The old self is the voice that says, "I can't. I'm not ready. I'm not enough." It lives in the past and measures tomorrow by yesterday's failures. It thrives on repeating stories of lack and rejection. To rise into your new self, you must silence that voice, not by fighting it, but by blessing it. Thank it for trying to protect you. It was built from old experiences, old fears, old beliefs, but its time has ended. Speak to it gently. You have done your job. I now release you in love. The universe responds instantly when you choose release over resistance. Life rearranges itself around your new vibration. Suddenly, what once hurt no longer does. What once seemed impossible now feels natural. This is the sacred moment of transformation, the unseen line between the person you were and the being you are becoming. Remember, nothing real can be lost. The true you, the divine, powerful, radiant essence, can never die. It only waits behind layers of conditioning to be seen again. The death of the old self is simply the clearing of the fog that kept your light hidden. Every ending is just a new beginning in disguise. When you let go of the identity that was built on fear, you rise into one that is built on faith. The old self believed in effort and struggle. The new self knows ease and flow. The old self begged for blessings. The new self commands them with authority. You are not destroying who you were. You are remembering who you are. The old must dissolve so that the divine can emerge. This is the sacred law of renewal. Every death opens the door to greater life. The universe does not build upon the ruins of yesterday. It creates anew. When you try to bring your old wounds, regrets, and habits into your new season, you block the flow of your blessings. Yesterday's energy cannot live in today's light. You cannot expect a new reality while replaying the same old vibration. Every day is an invitation to choose again, to lay down the heavy armor of the past and walk freely into the promise of now. Most people say they want change, yet they secretly cling to the familiar. They replay conversations that hurt them. They hold on to grudges as proof of their pain. But holding on to the past is like drinking poison and expecting the other to fall. The universe cannot deliver new results while you're still feeding the old patterns. The moment you stop repeating old stories, your energy shifts. When your vibration changes, your world follows. Let every morning be your resurrection. As you awaken, declare silently, yesterday is gone. I am born anew. Say it until your spirit believes it. Release every image that no longer fits the vision of who you are becoming. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know then. You acted from the level of awareness you had. Now you rise from a higher one. The new self doesn't need proof, it needs faith. The old self said, "I'll believe it when I see it." The new self knows, "I'll see it because I believe it." Every great transformation begins with this switch. You step into the unknown, not with fear, but with divine assurance that the universe is conspiring for your good. When you stop carrying yesterday into tomorrow, you reclaim your creative power. You stop being a victim of memory and become a master of energy. Every time you release an old belief, forgive an old story, or bless an old version of yourself, you open space for abundance, love, and peace to rush in. This is how you prepare the soil for new life to grow. Faith is the bridge between who you are and who you are meant to become. The old self lives by fear. It calculates, doubts, and hesitates. It fears rejection, failure, and judgment. But the new self walks by faith. It knows that every step taken in alignment with divine truth is guided and protected. Faith doesn't ask how. It simply knows the why. It is the inner knowing that everything that belongs to you cannot miss you. When faith awakens, miracles follow. You begin to act from a place of divine confidence instead of human worry. You start to trust timing instead of chasing outcomes. This is when the universe starts to move mountains in your favor. The new self is fearless not because it has control, but because it has surrendered control. It knows that divine intelligence is working behind the scenes, arranging every detail for your good. Fear tries to keep you safe by keeping you small, but faith expands you. It pushes you into opportunities that match your higher identity. Fear builds walls, faith builds doors. Fear says, "What if I fail?" Faith says, "What if I fly?" Your new self must choose which voice to follow every day. The more you practice faith, the more natural it becomes. Speak faith, think faith, act faith, until it becomes your second nature. When fear whispers, answer with truth. There is no loss in divine mind. All that is mine comes to me by right of consciousness. Each time you affirm this, you feed the new self and starve the old one. The rebirth of your life depends on this choice, to trust the unseen more than the seen. Once you master this, you no longer chase manifestations, they chase you. Your new self does not struggle, it aligns. The old self believed in effort and force. It thought success was earned through exhaustion and sacrifice. But divine law teaches otherwise. Manifestation flows through harmony, not hustle. When your thoughts, words, and emotions agree with your desires, creation becomes effortless. The new self understands that energy precedes form. You do not fight circumstances, you align your vibration, and circumstances must obey. This is the secret of divine order. Outer change always follows inner agreement. So before you act, ask, am I aligned with what I want, or with what I fear? The universe mirrors your inner state. If you act in desperation, you attract delay. If you act in peace, you magnetize results. That is why alignment matters more than action. When your soul and desire are one, every step feels guided, every decision feels supported. The path opens as you walk it. This is the power of stillness. The new self no longer reacts to the storm. It becomes the calm that ends it. In alignment, you are no longer a beggar of blessings, you are the embodiment of them. The world adjusts to your energy. Stay in the vibration of gratitude and expectancy. The universe cannot resist a grateful heart. It rushes to fill it with more. When your inner world aligns with abundance, lack becomes impossible. The shedding of the old self is not punishment, it is preparation. Just as a seed must die before it blooms, your old identity must fall away before your divine purpose can flourish. The pain you feel during transition is simply the cracking of your shell. What feels like loss is often expansion in disguise. When something leaves your life, a job, a relationship, an identity, do not mourn it too long. Bless it and release it. It was part of your preparation, not your destination. The universe never subtracts without adding something greater. The more you let go, the lighter you are, the faster you rise. When you release resistance, the universe rushes to fill the space with miracles. The new self doesn't cling, it trusts. It knows that divine timing never fails. So when you feel endings approaching, whisper this truth. Something greater is now unfolding for me. That is how you turn pain into power. Every ending is the soil where your new blessings are planted. The final awakening of the new self comes with remembrance. You are not trying to become powerful. You already are. You are not reaching for abundance. You are made of it. The divine spark within you has never been small, only forgotten. When you remember your divine identity, all illusions of lack dissolve. You stop begging life to bless you and begin blessing life through your words, energy, and faith. You speak with authority, knowing that the universe listens to conviction, not doubt. Your new self is not built, it is revealed. Each layer of fear, guilt, and limitation that falls away uncovers your original nature, peace, power, and divine love. You begin to live as a creator, not a survivor. This is the true resurrection, not an event, but a state of consciousness. You rise when you decide that nothing outside of you holds power over your destiny. You rise when you stop waiting for permission to shine. You rise when you remember that you are one with the source that created worlds. From that moment forward, life bends in your favor. You become magnetic to miracles because you live from truth, not illusion. The old self dies, the divine self rises, and all of heaven rejoices, for you have remembered who you truly are.